actually getting into another topic of discussion today. But before we do that, we asked a question on our social media platforms, and of course that question was, what next for General Muhoozi Kainerugaba after the promotion? Just join that conversation on our various social media platforms at Urban TV Uganda, on Twitter, on Facebook, Urban Television. We'll be getting your feedback later. The feedback that has so far come in is coming in from Joshua Binta Akik. He's running away. Oh my God. Why are you running away? Son of the revolution. Next is him becoming the president. Wow. Nazi talking about retirement and then commander-in-chief. Mwesige is saying nothing. Riversand says, what next? Obvious. Field Marshal, CBE, King of Scotland. Oh my God. Bushaiji is saying, next is retirement. Thank you so much for joining us. Musinguzi Onesimus, our next president and our next first lady of Uganda. Wow. Then Tonome Joseph Okello, leave active UPDF service and join active politics. Jacos Duke, it's him to share his thoughts to us, not us, Madam Sir. What Madam Sir is talking about? Kenneth Abrahams talking about army retirement and next president. The rest, there are so many views that are still coming in. Please join that conversation and keep sending in the comments. We will be interacting with you later in the show. Now, today, the 11th of October 2022, every year of this date, we celebrate the International Day of the Girl Child. Now, this year's theme is, our time is now, our rights and our responsibilities and our future. This is a conversation that is going on globally. Now, this day is celebrated with the aim of empowering the girl's child and amplifying their collective voice across the globe. Now, there are special challenges that are facing this girl child, and that's what we need to understand. Why is it important to celebrate this day? Is this a matter of a girl child and a boy child, or there is actually a conversation that has to go on? Now, we have three distinguished guests who will be talking to us about this subject of the International Day of the Girl Child. And of course, they will help us understand why is it important to celebrate this day one, what has been achieved in making sure that the girl child has equal opportunities, but also what are still the underlying challenges that is still challenging and also facing the girl child in our country. Now, I'm having Hope Wambi, she's working with the Violence Against Children Prevention, and that's Raising Voices Uganda, and also Achola Elizabeth, a human rights lawyer, that's Women's Pro Bono Initiative, and we'll be joined by Mastula Nachibonekai, Children Prevention Officer, also from the Raising Voice. Now, this is going to be a girl child talk. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining me this morning to have this very interesting conversation.
Thank you for having us.
Let me start with you, Hope. I don't want to start with lawyers. She may bring in a lot of English and jargons, legal jargons that we may not be able to understand initially. Maybe you first break it down for us. Why is it so important to have this day celebrated of a girl child?
Thank you so much again for having us. Like you've already introduced myself, we work with Raising Voices, and I don't want to miss to say that at Raising Voices we prevent all forms of violence against all children, irrespective of the gender. We prevent violence against the boys and against the girls. But for today, like you've rightfully put, we are here for the girls. And it's mainly because we want to amplify the unique challenges that girls experience on a daily. It doesn't in any way suggest that boys don't experience violence, but we know that the kind of violence that girls experience is multi-layered. They go through different experiences that probably their male counterparts do not experience. Take, for example, if you look at recently when we were going through the pandemic period, I don't want to say it's gone, but during the pandemic period, we registered the lockdown. We registered so many cases of teenage pregnancies. And you and I agree that teenage pregnancies mainly affect the girls. You know, we don't hear boys getting pregnant. But also we know that even when we had online lessons, for example, we had children studying from home. But from Raising Voices, we undertook a research, a study, and actually learned that many girls did not have access to gadgets like the boys did. And in most cases, you'd find that even when lessons were going on, the girls were asked to help their little ones in the family. So they didn't have the equal opportunity in terms of accessing the learning materials, in terms of accessing the time for lessons. But even that aside, the country has been talking about issues of menstrual hygiene, like where research has indicated that many girls miss school during their menses because they don't even have the sanitary towels. Even when you go to the school, you'll find probably there's a senior woman teacher in place, but there is no place for changing for the girls. You'll find that they don't even have the basic that they need, so they choose to stay back home. Recently, because of the so many cases of teenage pregnancies, you know that the country, the government of Uganda, tried to give them a second chance when they passed the guidelines on the re-entry for the child mothers. First of all, preventing teenage pregnancies, and then re-entry. But you and I know what happened. There was a lot of backlash. You know, many people were looking at this as, you know, these girls are going to spoil the others. But they were forgetting to see the fact that these girls were defiled. Behind every teenage pregnancy is a defilement case, because they are still minors. And you'd find that even when they were allowed to get back, even when some of them braved it all and got back to school, who would take care of the little one? The complexities around them.
The girl child.
It's very difficult because she's now with mother. She needs someone to support her. Nobody takes care of her.
We'll get to those actually difficulties and challenges and those uniqueness that you're talking about. I want to bring in Liz. There is kind of a glorification of this girl child. And as a lawyer, you should know that you have to, you know, treat all people equal. Seems like you are leaving the boy child to suffer alone, to remain a hustler, and then you amplifying the rights and the needs of a girl child without looking at the side of the boy. How about that?
I don't really agree with the statement that we're leaving the boy child behind. I know it's something that is thrown around a lot, but then you see when we decide to now, like we don't want to take the focus away from the issues that is at hand. Now, right now, the main issue we are looking at here are the grievances, the challenges that the girl child faces. But now, when you bring in conversations of the boy child being left behind, it's like you're overshadowing something that's right before your eyes, you see? Like you're distracting us from the main issue we are here for. If I say that the girl child is suffering, I've not said that the boy child isn't. I've just said the girl child is suffering. That's all you should listen to. You know, don't read into something I've not said. You know, most of the time, with the kind of work we do around women's rights, people tend to construe things that we actually don't say. You see, you come out to say that most of the things she has been saying, the challenges the girls have been facing before COVID, after COVID, even way before. She has basically just highlighted what happened, but realize that someone out there is saying she has not mentioned the boy child. Even the boys were suffering, but she has merely mentioned. So first, listen to the thing that we are trying to put out there. Yes, the legal framework is there. It says it recognizes that there should be equality between men and women. That's true. But is that really what's on ground? Is that the reality? You see, we have the laws in place. The reality is that the equality is not really there. The boy child, the men in general. Okay, let me just go back actually to backwards. Our system is patriarchal. You know that, yeah? So that means that most of the decisions, most of the things that are going to be discussed are going to be fronted and led by the other gender, the male gender. What does that mean? It shows that the girl child, the women, we are kind of behind. Despite the fact that different people, organizations, stakeholders, we are going to come in and advocate for the rights of the child. The government is going to give us opportunities to be in leadership, all those things. But then, at the end of the day, who is actually making the final decisions? She mentioned the aspect of women having power,
having positions without power.
Yeah, like you're there, you have the power, but you don't actually have the power. It's like it's just an affirmative action thing people are doing. I'm going to front the girl child, but just because I want people to say that I care about women.
Yes.
But do you actually care about women? The same thing. Do you actually care about the girl child? I mean, you're complaining that we are living out the boy child. How about you?
I'm not complaining. I'm only saying there is the fairness. Exactly. I'm representing a very wider section of the public that look at this as unfair for the boy child. And actually, I also wanted to bring in Hope to clarify on that. Where are you coming from? You know, having this whole conversation centering around the girl child. What is so unique about this girl child?
So, like she has rightfully put, we believe that the underlying causes of all forms of violence that everybody experiences is the unequal power relationships. And this power is given to us not by the Constitution, because the Constitution is very clear, like she has said, but society, the way we are raised, our upbringing, our culture, our norms, put the boys in a certain place of privilege. And because of that, we reinforce them over time. We had a chat with you, and we were agreeing that in so many families, boys are not allowed to cross the kitchen because the girls are supposed to be cooking.
And that's our culture.
That's our culture.
And we treasure it.
But is it good culture? Is it bringing the equal treatment and equal opportunities? And then we said, because of that, even when we transition to school, you'll find that in the event that I have a little one, I'll choose to let the girls stay and support, because girls are supposed to take care of the home and to support mommy. So you'll find that as a mother, maybe in Karamoja or wherever, or even in Kampala, I'll choose to take my son to school and teach the girl the chores of cooking and washing, because I'm training her to be a wife. She's not supposed to be in school. Even when a girl experiences violence, for example, we just had the police report released, I think earlier this week, last week, and it was talking about over 15,000 cases of defilement. You'll find that when you try to dissect the report, people will start saying, but what were these girls doing? They were seducing the men. They were doing this. Even in the cases of teenage pregnancies, when we had so many girls pregnant, people were saying,
will always be a justification.
They were
all
blamed.
Yes.
But you are forgetting that they are children who deserve to be protected. There is no such a thing as a child seducing an adult. Instead, the adult has the power to nurture and direct and support this child. So if you notice that she's not behaving appropriately, you can nurture instead of going in and defiling, because it's not right for us.
Achola, we have the legal frameworks that actually protect the girl child and every child for that matter, and on an equal basis. Why is it so important to keep reiterating this issue that has already been legislated on?
Well, when you keep talking about something, you make it normal. You know, when you don't talk about something often, people tend to forget that it actually exists. So the legal framework case is there, but how effective is it? You see, many people don't really know about these laws that we have in place, because it's something we consider as mainly for the legal fraternity to be used in the courts of law. Maybe people won't interact with the courts, all these laws, when they have an offense and they are going to court. So the more we talk about this issue, the more we talk about this, inform, sensitize people. You go in the communities, you localize whatever advocates, whatever work we are doing. You go in the community, tell them, you're meeting the women and girls, you're telling them you have a right to go to school, you have a right to education, you have a right to have healthy things, like you have all these rights that are in place. And where do you derive these rights from? Uganda has this kind of law, Uganda has this constitution, there is a penal code that protects you if someone defiles you, there is this act that enables you to stand for leadership. You see, the more you keep the more we keep talking about these laws, you don't have to know all the laws. You know, you don't have to go into the nitty-gritties of the laws. You have to speak in the language that these people understand.
The language that these people understand.
Yes.
We're actually going to continue with that conversation, and actually we want to interrogate today's and this year's theme, whether it rhymes well with the conditions of Uganda. But before we do that, we understand that actually the girl child, we've been talking about the uniqueness of the girl child, but also the opportunities which should be there for the girl child. And we know that our cultural values, which I want to put that question to Achola, you know, this whole conversation looks like a militating against our religion and our culture, which also we need to interrogate further. But before we do that, there are those sectors in our country which have always predominantly been, you know, for male, but also the girl child is taking advantage, and they are now getting opportunities from those sectors. For example, the oil and gas sector has always been, you know, seen as a sector that should actually have opportunities for the boy child, but also the girl child is taking advantage. We went and visited one of the companies in this oil sector, and that's Sinok Uganda, a Chinese subsidiary company, but also there are some girls who are being trained to drive very, very long trucks, but also some are being trained to be engineers in that oil and sector. Let's take a look at this video, and then we'll return with our panelists to enlarge and also to go further with this conversation.
Keep there, madam.
Keep there, sit.
Keep there. You are still driving.
Now you're going to drive. Go ahead. Maybe you can tell us your names.
Can remove your mask so that they can see you well, since you are keeping
Introduce
social
yourself.
distancing.
I'm by names of Tebananka Christine. I've been a trainee for the trucks, big trucks, the senior trucks. My academics, I completed senior 4, and I had seat because there were no money to push me up. So, and when I heard of this opportunity of training the trainees, I had to submit my application there. So they called me out. So I came out and I started training. I don't have much experience because I got my permit at St. Augustine. So I had to, because I had no motor vehicle to be driving. So I think it is my first time to sit on those trucks.
African Connect presents the Sugarcane Carnival with Camido live in Kampala.
Sugarcane sweet, but your love is sweeter.
At Sheraton Gardens on the 22nd of October 2022. Entrance is 50K, 100K VIP, and the table is at 3 million. Come watch Camido live alongside your favorite artists at Sheraton Gardens, Kampala. It's going down.
Tukutuusaako ebinyivu. Muziki ku muziki. Kazanyo ku kazanyo ne firimu ezaaliko n'eziriko.
Brave and beautiful. Bulambalamba bukede TV omuntu wa bulijjo.
Tega omukutu gwa Azam TV 354 Go TV 378 ne DSTV 378.
On the next episode of Loving Tyra.
Just because I took away your position doesn't mean I don't need you in my life.
I wasn't born to open doors for you, carry your bags, take pictures of you whenever you're with your friends, partying, buying luxurious things. No.
Brother, I did not carry my passport, and, no passport, no visa.
Any ideas who this person can be?
I would say my ex-boyfriend, Robert. But he's married, and then
What does your ex-boyfriend do?
The last time I remember, he was a policeman.
On the next episode of Loving Tyra.
It came to my surprise that even my dad, the president, knows about it.
Well, the press, you know, they always spread everything around.
So you guys are back solid.
Yeah.
That is nice. That is good to hear.
Why would you even need me?
You are like, why wouldn't I need you?
I don't know anything about the music industry.
Well, I know.
Matthias reached out and asked me to give me a job opportunity.
You always find a way to meet me somewhere. What's wrong with you two? Now you're here. What do you want exactly? Stop beating around the bush.
This weekend.
You are the God of signs and wonders. You are the God of miracles.
Let me just remind you that God is still in the business of fixing and transforming His children. And your situation is not complex. It's not new to Him. What you're going through, what you could be going through, what could be a mountain for you right now, God has got someone else out of it before and is able and much more than able to do the same for you.
It goes to the mind first. It has to conquer the emotions. Then it becomes your will. And when it becomes your will, then it is in your spirit.
Oh, we testify, we celebrate. Oh, Lord, we give you all the praise.
This weekend.
No matter how fast you are.
I am not too big compared to you.
No one outruns their past.
I am more easy.
I will ruin your life the way you ruin mine. Tongi tongi nakke nakke gade. తొక్కుకుంటూ పోవాలి ఎదురొచ్చినోడ్ని ఏసుకుంటూ పోవాలి
My plan was to drive us away.
Well, your plan sucks. Is that a Glock in your pocket?
No,
What?
it's 2 Glocks. Oh!
Weddings will never go out of style, but trends definitely will. Are you a bride-to-be looking for that perfect gown? A groom planning the wackiest after party? Oh, a wedding vendor seeking to showcase your services? Or just someone who loves all things to do with weddings? The Bride and Groom Show is finally here with expert advice on wedding planning, fashion, the latest trends, destinations, and so much more. Watch your favorite bridal magazine come to life every Sunday on Urban TV from 3 to 4 p.m. and stay on top of your bridal game as guided by the best in the industry. Make it a date and let's walk the love journey together as we celebrate beautiful memories. Bride and Groom, we care as much about your wedding as you do.
I want us to understand what is sickle cell.
If you found to have sickle cell disease in adult, you had it when you're younger, but you didn't know about it.
So you can't acquire it in adult?
It's not. No, it's genetic. In patients who have sickle cell disease, they change. Some of them change to a shape which is like a moon. It's like a sickle. One of the first symptoms children may present with who have sickle cell disease is swelling of the fingers and the hands. It's called hand and foot syndrome. Recurrent pain in the legs. Some of them have larger heads than you expect. Okay, we call it bossing. Sickle cell disease, there is treatment. Treatment can be adhered to the complications. Okay, as I mentioned, the main complications is pain.
When I
The biggest news, trends, and gossip ever on Ugandan television.
We have been cancellized because of their looks.
Urban, 1 full hour of local entertainment news every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 11 p.m.
Omusango nagwangula mu kooti, omwana wange, omwana ali wange, ze mukozi.
Short Circuit with Winnie Success.
Baby, my baby, don't forget. Jangu tonera. Today will be the date. My baby.
Hi lovely people, so abantu be Kawanda nebitundu ebiranyewo.
Let's be together and forever. Like them and ever. I promise to never hurt you. Gonna they love you so. I'm gonna be.
So we're gonna be at the arenas. Come chill with us. Come chill with the big boys and girls. Come, let's party. Once Lukoba, we'll be live on your telly at exactly 10 p.m. Be there or be nowhere.
Who will join St. Lawrence University, Uganda Matters University, and defending champions UCU in the semi-finals? Don't miss the battle between arch rivals MUBS and Chambogo University on Tuesday, October 11th in Nakawa as both teams fight for the remaining slot at the semi-final stage. MUBS, the only team with 100% winning record after winning all the 7 games played this season, won the first leg of this quarter-final tie 2-1, and the obvious question is, can Chambogo defy the odds? At Vision Group, we have got you covered. Catch up with all the live updates on Bukede TV 1 at 2 p.m. and live broadcasts on Urban TV, Bukede TV 2 as well as 1 Luo and TV East at 3 p.m. Don't miss out on the new crop of stars.
When the day ends, the news starts. Across the day, the world is turning around, but so do our cameras. This is the reason why you should tune in to the news.
The Prime Minister of Uganda. Conveniences caused by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Meanwhile, Pope Francis has named Bishop Paul Semogerere.
The proudest moments of this nation was the launch of the Simba Dam.
We unpack for you the day's events because we have penetrated your locality to explain why things happen. Is it health? Domestic violence, transport, education, security, crime, politics, name it, we have it. We are your choice of news every day at 9 p.m. on Urban Television. The news, your views, our news.
Urban.
Welcome back to The Big Issue. My name is Mubarak Mugabo. Now you can join the conversation of the International Day of the Girl Child. That's what we are discussing. With me in studios are 3 distinguished guests. We are now joined by Mastula Nachiboneka. She's also coming in from the Raising Voices, and also she's a child prevention officer at that organization. Now we are still with Achola Elizabeth. She's a human rights lawyer and women's pro bono initiative, and also Hope Wambi, violence against children protection officer, also from the Raising Voice. Ladies, there is no gentleman. I'm the only man who is in the studio. We are having 2 very critical issues we want to interrogate here. And once we are done with that, we will be able to make it actually a day. The question of the opportunities. You've been talking about the uniqueness of a girl child. Are there opportunities that you have failed to tap into? Let me just give Elizabeth the opportunity to talk about that. I come to Nachiboneka later.
Thank you. Personally, I believe that the main opportunity that we need, that the girl child needs to tap into, and all the women in general, is the aspect of having their voices heard. I feel like we have there are so many things that are going on in quotes, opportunities that have been provided to us. I mean, we're talking about the deputy speaker being female.
The speaker.
The speaker being female.
Prime Minister. Many ministers.
Those are just a few people that we are noting. Because you see that when you look at statistics, majority of the people that are in all these positions that have the most opportunities are actually men. But we are always so distracted by the small number of females that are occupying these spaces.
Absolutely. So the opportunities for the girl child.
We need more spaces. We need more spaces to be created for the women and girls to be to occupy. It's not just a matter of saying, okay, we are giving it to sports. Like, how about you give us more
That's from
spaces?
the woman perspective.
Even the girl child, when it comes to schools, the school retention, when the number of the percentage of boys is higher than the one for girls. And all this goes back to the challenges in pregnancies, the issue of menstrual hygiene, all these cases that they are having child marriages. So you see that you go in schools, you go into all these communities, and the girls are still lower. When they put out their issues, they are not really heard. They are not put at the spaces where they can make decisions. And basically, it's like their voices are not really heard. The main opportunity, for me, the main opportunity I would want is to be given this platform where people actually listen. When we are here talking, people actually need to listen. It's not just we are not just doing propaganda PR. Like, actually listen to what the people are saying. If a young girl is talking to you about something, instead of teaching, okay, when we have young children, maybe you have a daughter, so maybe she's watching Disney, there's this princess, because most times we relate the princess to the girl, and then the soldier and the fighting for the castle for the man. But how about even if the girl, your daughter, is into princess, you're teaching her to relate more to the princess. Princess can also make decisions in the home. You go and ask her as a princess, the kingdom is falling down, what can I do? Explore her mind. You know, most girl children are not given that opportunity where their minds are tapped into for them to be able to actually decide on something. So they grow up thinking, my role, I'm just supposed to be looking pretty, doing the house chores, being just a princess basically. I can't fight, I can't save my kingdom.
You can't save your kingdom. Actually, yes, hope. What are those opportunities that you think have not been able to be tapped into by the girl child?
I think the biggest I would think about, in addition to what she has shared, is girls need to be safe. Safety, protection from all forms of violence. I envisage a society where a girl will leave home and go to school, and there is no one cold cutting her or sexually harassing her on the road, and she reaches school and she studies well. And even when she gets into trouble, no one is secondary victimizing her. No one is saying you called it upon yourself. You didn't dress well. You were walking in the night. Like, I'm looking at a scenario where the children are experiencing violence-free spaces, where we shall have a culture of non-violence. Secondly, I am looking at a situation where the girls, for example, who have fallen pregnant or have gone through different challenges, they should be supported to go back to school because the opportunity is there. How can we support them in a school setting? Let the school be safe, that even when this child mother comes back, she's not the talk of the school. That means that a teacher needs to do something to help the other learners accept. But also as a teacher, I need to put in place an enabling environment. So right from the home, at the mosque, at the church, wherever, whether in the market, or even when I go to a window, no one is holding this girl and saying all those, sexual comments, where the child is safe.
And that's the community we want. Mastula, you found us actually interrogating this subject. And one of the issues I think has been raised about the culture and the religious, aspect of this whole conversation. Some of this kind of conversation and talk seems to be militating against some cultures and some, religious values that most of us cherish. What is your view on that? And is this whole conversation not undermining some of our faith and beliefs and cultures?
Okay, thank you, Hope, and thank you, Achola, and the moderator. Well, this is an interesting conversation, but if we explore the underlying principles of
all culture, of all faith. It is shedding light on spread love, being compassionate. I have not, within the different cultures, within the different faiths, especially mine, where you have found religion or culture promoting violence, promoting unfairness. You know, the lines of treat your neighbor the way you would want to treat yourself. I think we need to bring that to the light than just being a scripture writing. Let us leave it. This girl, you know, who has experienced violence, they've been raped, they got pregnant, they still want to pursue their dream, and there's an opportunity, for example, the policies that government put up for the re-entry. You know, why don't we treat your neighbor the way you would want to treat to be treated, to how we support this girl to enroll back in school. You know, the salam itself, from my perspective of faith, means peace. How do we interpret that in the day-to-day interactions between the boys and the girls, between the males and the females? How do
But
we
your
see
faith
peace
seemed
and
to
love being cultivated and
prioritize the boy child in many aspects. For example, a child is not even supposed to be, for example, a mufti of the whole country. And this is the conversation that you may not be easily get from that kind of a faith, which I also subscribe to. Isn't this actually a boy child, rather a girl child conversation of having equal opportunities, not being undermined by some of our faith? Like, for example, me and you, what we subscribe to.
But we have also had women leaders from, you know, I wouldn't want the conversation to concentrate on faith. I want to broaden it up and say we have had women leaders way back from history. You know, we have had them do things, we have had them make decisions, we have had them like steer their communities to great things. I think if we draw a leaf from what has happened with the women leadership in the past, we can cultivate it, we can still see it, even in the day-to-day, you know, right from the home, the girls and the kind of responsibilities they take, how we support and nurture, as opposed to saying, you may not be good for this particular role, and your brother will be. How about switching that to mentor them to be able to muscle their effort, to be productive and, you know, like do their role to the expectations, than dismissing, because what we see is dismissal. Mastula cannot do this
Because
she's a girl. Yeah, because she's a girl. How about if we shift the narrative? Can we mentor and support Mastula to live up to that?
Isn't
role?
that actually going to be like you're trying to change the norms and values and the practices of some of these kind of faith and this kind of cultures? I want to bring in here actually, Elizabeth.
Yes.
Are you calling for an amendment in our culture and how we live? Honestly, that's demanding so much.
But you know, culture evolves. You know, there are things that used to serve us in the past that do not really serve us anymore. And we have evolved around those, we have creatively worked around those. The same for the faith. It's very clear. You know, there are guidelines that are stipulated.
Yes.
What happens and what we see happen is the interpretation of a certain individual or group of people to what
serve
it
their
should be,
yes,
to serve their
interests.
biases. You know,
That's true.
Yeah, serve their
That's
biases
very, very
and
true.
what they believe in and their attitudes and opinions, as opposed to what it should be. So while we speak about that, the conversation we are talking about giving girls a chance and paying attention to the critical issues that are affecting them does not clash with the faith, in any way,
with
but
the cultures.
rather
Yes.
it is reminding us of those principles of love, principles
I'll
of
come back to
fairness
you,
and
Mastula.
equity
I want to
that the
bring in
culture and
Elizabeth.
faith
This seems to
promotes.
be a very uncomfortable conversation, mostly from the people who are coming from this kind of cultures. How better can we have this kind of a conversation going forward?
I think the reason why people are uncomfortable with such discussions, the uncomfortable people, that means maybe they benefit from this culture. Because if you don't benefit from something, I don't think okay, there are some aspects of culture that wouldn't make us uncomfortable talking about.
Yes.
Now, like those cultural values that don't uphold women's rights, that say most of the thing basically she has been saying.
Yes.
I want to reiterate. If someone out there is uncomfortable, thinks that by Mastula saying this should change, women should be given a space, a girl should be heard, they feel that she wants to do away with the culture that,
and the practices that we know.
That it's a negative thing. You're perceiving it like it's a negative thing. Then that means one, you're down with the problem.
Yes.
And you see, when we see our constitution is there to help such things. As long as there is a culture or a norm that is discriminatory to another gender, that discriminates girls and women, that violates any of our rights, then that culture is totally void. It should be done away with.
It should be done away with.
You have to look at the main rights that are provided in the Constitution. The Constitution recognizes that all of us women and when we are equal, we have equal rights, this and this. It provides for so many opportunities that people need to do.
Yes, so, we have actually to wind up this conversation, but how do we make people who are totally loyal and believers of such cultures and beliefs to have this kind of a conversation that doesn't look to be a little comfortable hope going forward?
Thank you so much. For starters, I think we need to reflect. We need to dialogue. We need to take this conversation, like you were saying, beyond the studio to the communities. And there are many structures, government structures, which are given, whether there is an NGO or not. And my sister here has talked about the legal instruments that are in place that are cross-cutting.
Yes.
Maybe it's very important that we get to appreciate where these are coming from.
Yes.
I know that many people, when they hear the word rights, they say you're bringing in Western culture.
Yes.
But remember, the Constitution of Uganda is for Uganda. When you look at the Children's Act as amended, it's for Uganda. When you look at all these guidelines on the re-entry of child mothers, the end teenage pregnancy strategy, they are all for us as Ugandans. So the most important thing for me is for me as hope to reflect, for my communities to reflect. This which I am promoting as culture, is it good? Is it fair? Is it just? Is it something I would wish for it to be done to me? And when we start from that reflection, we shall then get to appreciate that if it's not good for me, it's not good for the other.
Yes.
And then secondly, let's let girls be girls. Let children be children. So many times we get to mix the two. That we remove the focus from the perpetrator, the person who has committed the crime of defilement. Instead, we put it on this child. How were you dressed? What were you doing? Why did you... You know, recently I was having a conversation and someone had fought. And I said, wow, fighting is terrible. Then they said, what did she do? You know, like, what did she do? It doesn't make it right because the other person has done something.
The action is already bad.
So there is nothing that the child can do that warrants their violence, like them being violent.
Unfortunately, Hope, we have actually to wind up this conversation. But our theme today, or the theme today, is our time is now, our responsibilities, our rights, and our future. Now, this looks a little patriarchal in nature also. I just want to get your view on that theme and how we can, does it rhyme well with this country, Uganda? Mastula.
Sure. Yeah, it does, and really well within the legal framework of Uganda and everything around policies and the guidelines, especially the Ministry of Education has put up and other state agencies. It rhymes really well. And why we are saying our time is now, our rights, our future, is, there's been very many efforts, and I think that's where you started with Achola and Hope. There's been very many efforts around shedding light on the issues that are affecting girls, but the efforts are not yielding as yet.
Yes.
They have
brought us to somewhere, but we are not yet there. That is why the theme is still coming back. You know, the time is now for us to have these guidelines working in the schools, for us to have these laws respected and observed for the safety of the girls in the schools, in the homes, in the community. So the time is now, because when we do that, we then create an enabling environment for them to live their full potential, so their future.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Elizabeth, as we are winding up, this theme seems to be patriarchy in nature. As I said, I want to repeat that and reiterate that. It scares most of the people who listen to it, say, hey, it is their time now. Whose time has it been before? Does it rhyme well with our environment and Uganda state?
It does, yeah, it does. We see when we say our time is now, and it's our rights and our future, it calls upon all people, the general public, to be held accountable. Like, it's our time to now act, how can I put it? To be responsible. Let's show accountability to the women and girls. Let's help them move forward. And how do we help them move forward? How do we be accountable to whatever we want them to be? Is by working alongside with them, helping them reach their potential. So just by us saying that the time is now, it doesn't mean that before it has been other people's time. It's always going to be our time, because the more we talk about these issues, the more change happens.
Yes. What are some of the recommendations as we are winding up, Hope, that you can put out there? Because certainly there are underlying challenges that are still, faced with this whole conversation.
So, like we rightfully put at the beginning, we were talking about unequal power relationships. And we know that these start right from the household level. You spoke about how we were raised and how we were attaching a certain value to certain genders. We're looking for gender fairness. Let it start from the household level. Let me help my child go to school and attain the grades and be what she wants to be. She can be an engineer, she can be a doctor. She doesn't need to be all the time the nurse or the nursery teacher, which is, by the way, okay.
Yes.
But let's not limit their potential.
The men should teach the higher classes, the women should teach
the lower
nursery,
classes.
the lower classes.
Yeah.
Yes,
so let's have that gender fairness right from the family, the household level. Let me involve the children in decision making. Let the voice of the girl and the boy be heard at the family level. Let me look at the unique challenges that girls experience. For example, we talked about menstrual hygiene. During COVID, the research was carried out by Raising Voices, actually in urban settings. And children were saying, in lockdown, it was hard for them because they didn't have sanitary towels, because the parents were buying them, because they were requirement by the school. And now schools had been closed, the parents were not buying sanitary towels.
Yes.
So from the household level, let's look at the unique challenges that girls experience and put in place an enabling
environment for all of us. I think that's a very interesting conversation, but one very key issue that I want also to emphasize, that the conversation should start with the families. The questions and the answers in the families should change. I heard one of the colleagues saying that there is a general question usually asked for children: who is the head of the family? The father. And
Yes,
it starts from there. It can be the mother.
Shared
Shared. Yeah, the narrative has it can be even a mother who is heading the family. I don't know where the father comes
That conversation is a little much more complex.
Girls can do so much more.
I think it should not be looked at from the adversary perspective.
But
women versus men, girls versus
yes,
boys.
absolutely.
We are
Their
all
context.
partners.
Yes.
We are partners, and there's need to, like lay issues on the table
and discuss
allow
them.
all ourselves to be vulnerable and discuss with compassion, but with concrete actions, and also like support those actions to happen. It's one thing to say, okay, my partner must do like this decision, but it is also to be in the back saying, okay, my partner must do at the front.
But also the conversation with the fathers and the main, the father figures in the families. There's nothing hard for you to go and do cures, house cures, and do things that actually have always been perceived to be for the
modeling.
Yes, exactly.
Especially for
and unfortunately,
boys,
we are running out of time, ladies. We can't move beyond this conversation, but the conversation continues on our different social media platforms. We've been discussing the International Day of the Girl Child, and the girl child needs equal opportunities, and actually the future holds for all of us, regardless of where they are. But of course, for their uniqueness, they need also some kind of a unique attention. Thank you so much for joining me to discuss this. We now want to take a short break, but before we do that, Miles Ramiti is coming with a former controversial member of parliament. Guess what? Mubarak Munyagwa is coming with Miles Ramiti with that kind of a conversation on what is happening with his political life now that he's out of parliament. This is the big issue. Rush Talk returns.
Looking for a news story that was written by a specific author? Visit the Vision Archives website on archives.visiongroup.co.ug. Go to author and select the author of your choice. All stories written by that author will be displayed. Scroll through the results and select the specific story of your choice. Choose to either download PDF or read more. If you choose download PDF, you will be prompted to make a payment of $2,000 via mobile money, and upon payment, your content will be displayed.